Thank you, sir. First of all, let me thank all the honorable members, Shri Shashi Tharoor ji, Shri Jagdambika Pal ji, Shri Mandal ji, Shri Satpati ji, Shri Nivas Rao ji, Shri Konda ji, Shri Shankar Prasad Datta ji, Shri Hukam Singh ji, Shri Rao ji, Shri Munniappa ji, Shri Arun Kumar ji, Shri Dushyant Chautala ji, Shri Kaushalendra Kumar ji, Shri Prahlad Patel ji, and Shri Richard ji. And forgive me if I have left somebody's name for participation in this discussion about this very, very important bill. And I feel extremely grateful to all of you and this House, and express my deep heartfelt gratitude for supporting this bill. By and large, I would say the people were generally very positive. Some concerns were raised, some apprehensions were also expressed. But I felt sorry about two particular comments which I want to talk about in the beginning. Somebody said that we are kneeling before America or China. I fail to understand how by bringing a regional center of biotechnology in the country, which is going to be one of the state-of-the-art things for the whole of Asia, we are seen as kneeling before America or China. We can tell the honorable member that we shall not be even the last people in this world to ever kneel before anyone. For us, there is only one guiding principle, and that is Rashtra Dharma, Samaj Dharma and Manav Dharma. And we are only guided by that. So, and moreover because this bill has its origin from the time of our great Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. As I mentioned in the beginning, if you recall the character and the DNA of our government or our leaders, so you have to recall that in March 1998, he became the Prime Minister of India, and what he did on 11th May 1998, in spite of all pressures for which I think anybody could have been seen kneeling, but we enjoy our DNA from that great Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And now there is another great leader, Shri Narendra Modi, who enjoys the legacy of that great Prime Minister. He is thoroughly committed to country's welfare. He is thoroughly committed to science. He is thoroughly committed to science professionals, scientists, scientific acumen. He has brilliant ideas, innovative ideas. He is committed to promote science in the best possible manner. He is wanting to put everything into ensuring that science is actually connected to the people and science is actually used only for the benefit of the people and particularly for the benefit of the poorest of the poor. And that is reflected in all the policies that he has framed till now, in the various programs which were deliberated in great detail, whether it was the Make in India or the Digital India or the Swasth Bharat, etc. And now the startup and the stand-up movement, with so much of money being put for ensuring that we can support millions of young people in this country to develop entrepreneurs, to develop their own innovative ideas, make programs, use technology, give back to the country in the best possible manner. And even in science also I can say that after we took over, we improved the scholarships of our scientists by over 50%. So many schemes have been introduced to ensure that people who have already gone out of the country, they come back happily, and institutions are created where they get the most ideal environment to work. And Speaker Sir, I would tell you that this particular institution is one such institution. People have expressed concern and raised doubts that probably this institution is coming up at the cost of other institutions, compromising with their quality, or it will be a sort of a boss institution over others. It is going to hamper or impair the autonomy of other institutions. It's not like that. It is an institution, and the word regional is regional for the whole world. For this for this region of the world, which is like Asia, it is going to be one of the best collaborating, coordinating center where we exchange our knowledge, where we exchange our experience in the most optimal manner with, you can say, sharing of informations. Plus, this center also diagnoses the various problems at various places, what type of training is required, what type of manpower is to be created, what type of people are required by the industry, what type of improvement in education for our biotechnology is required. All this is going to be worked out for this in this center, and this center, with the help of UNESCO and the member states, is going to actually make sure that our goal of taking biotechnology, which is already moving fast towards that, in that direction of becoming a global leader, is achieved well in time. Other comment about which I felt sorry was that one honorable member said that the achievements of biotechnology in this country, or our scientists in this country, in this field, are literally zero. He used the word zero. And I think this is really a sort of a very, very sorry comment. You see, I have to invite each one of you to these biotechnology laboratories in the country. You see, when I had not visited them, or when I had not seen them, and when I had not interacted with the scientists, without knowledge, I could have also said, I don't know what's happening in India. But I can say for sure that we have the state-of-the-art labs in this country in biotechnology. This department was created 30 years back, and now after 30 years, you can really boast of the best institutions that this world can have. They are all in India. The type of cutting-edge research that the scientists in India in this particular field are doing, it is, I think, absolutely fabulous. 10 years back, our molecular biologists or life scientists, you see what they have done, that now they have done the total human genome sequencing. This human genome sequencing required at 10 years back, can you imagine, $100 million. And now, after 10 years, the same human genome sequencing can be done in $1,000. This is the achievement of our scientists. Cancer is no longer a dreaded disease. Now, our scientists are basically working at that cellular level, and we are into the precision medicine, for which Obama has spent $220 billion in his country, and our scientists have been able to show it's in almost, somebody said we have nothing in nanotechnology. so many institutions in nanotechnology, and right now our status in nanotechnology internationally is that we are third best in the world in terms of our publications and our contributions. And you have to actually visit all those laboratories, meet those scientists to believe what I am saying. So friends, this is about those two unfair comments that were made. I thought I must put the record straight. And it was rightly said by, I think, Mr. Reddy sir, that he recalled the observations made by Atalji at that time when in the 90s we were having that IT boom. That IT today is India, IT he said is India today and BT will be Bharat tomorrow. And it is the right time to recall Atalji at this time, and I have to especially thank Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi also for the suggestion that he made at that UNESCO meeting. And of course the last government also, they took the issue forward, and I am the privileged one in the sense that I have got this opportunity to put forward this bill before you and see that it sees the light of the day now. I can assure you that coming up of this institution, number one, it is not going to hamper or in any way compromise the quality, the support that the Government of India gives to any other institution, whether in the government or in the private sector or in the industry, because we help research in biotechnology in all fields. It's not only in the government. We are helping the IITs also, we are helping the industry also. In last year itself, I think we may have helped at least 150 startups in the country in the biotechnology by giving money and all. So it is not going to compromise with anything. Coming up of this institution will ensure that we have a very, very good quality, state-of-the-art institution which will make sure that whatever is deficient anywhere, we are able to take care of that. We improve education, we improve training, and we create manpower of all types, all levels, all varieties with the help of this institution, and with this institution taking the help of UNESCO and other countries of Asian region. That is basically the purpose of this particular institution. Some of the specific concerns that were raised, I'll just mention them. Mr. Tapas Mandal said that he is probably unaware that we already have an institute in biotechnology in Kalyani, West Bengal. It is the National Institute of Biomedical Genomics. We call it as NIBMG. So he should know about that. Number one, myself, along with your Science and Technology Minister of West Bengal, recently I inaugurated in Calcutta a new building for the Indian Institute of Chemical Biology in the Salt Lake area of Calcutta. This was only I would say few weeks back. Our lab in Lucknow, along with the Agriculture Department in your West Bengal, we have successfully worked on that now, and we are already corresponding with Miss Mamta Banerjee. She is in her election mode to inaugurate what we have done with the agricultural people in West Bengal. So it's not that we are not, in fact, putting our concerns for the eastern or northeastern part of India. Regarding your comment about Indian scientists, I would say that Indian scientists have done brilliant science in India. They have got many top recognitions. We have many world-class institutions, and we have already had many good quality industrial breakthroughs on record till today. Then we also have a very important major agricultural program in East and Northeast. There is an initiative which is known as the Institute of Bioresources and Sustainable Development at Imphal. I have already visited that place long back. DBT is also supporting programs at the Bose Institute in Calcutta and NIBMG in West Bengal, as well as at IIT Kharagpur. These are the places I am mentioning which I have myself visited in the last 1 year, and there may be many others.
Okay.
Pardon?
You want to say something?
Oh, sure.
Central institutes, biomedical genomics, that institute is around 1 kilometer from my residence. Now working in a rented abandoned medical college. They are not building, it is under construction, the new building. They are ready to ship there very soon. The scientists and the other stuffs, they are passing time. No research work is going on right now. This is number one. Number two, yes, Bose Institute is one of the major institute in biotechnology in whole eastern India and caters the needs of the nation also. But there are some important institutes like Bidhan Chandra Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, one state agriculture university, has a very small department of biotechnology, no infrastructural facilities, no lab facilities, no equipments. So my submission is that West Bengal is very sound in agriculture, agricultural productivity and fruit production, vegetable production. West Bengal ranked first, second like this. So under these circumstances, is it possible to fund a sizable amount of money for the university to develop biotechnology lab?
Don't repeat all the, you have already said all these things.
I don't want to enter into any controversy about it. We may have a difference of opinion about the, you can say, quality or the content, etc. But I assure you that if you give me any valuable suggestions, because I have visited almost all the labs in Calcutta in the last 1 year, I can tell you, and I also feel proud of them like I feel proud of Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose. But if you have any specific suggestions about improvement or having a new building or anything which you feel is already not in the offing, but most of the things that have been brought to our knowledge, they are already in the process, advanced process of going ahead. But please don't say that we are zero in biotechnology in this country. We have not done anything, our scientists are useless. I think that demoralizes the great people. They are doing excellent work. And you belong to a place which is, which can boast of the great Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose and S.N. Bose and P.C. Ray. So you should not be talking about that. Sir, and then I have to tell you that we have a, you mentioned about nano biotechnology also, we have a special separate, I mentioned that we are third in the world, but I tell you that we have a separate special task force on nanobiotechnology, and we have a very major nanotech mission and many nano institutes in the country. If you wish, I can organize a visit for you to all these institutions. Then something was mentioned by you also about BT cotton and BT brinjal. So let me tell you the actual factual position about these issues. You see, BT cotton is the only genetically engineered crop India has approved so far for commercial cultivation in the year 2002, when Atalji was the Prime Minister. So far, India has approved 6 events of BT cotton, MON 53, MON 15985, Event 1, GFM event, BNLA 601 and MLS 921, expressing different insecticidal proteins alone or in combination to control Helicoverpa armigera, a major pest of cotton, and at the same time reduce the excess use of pesticides. These events were developed by both private and public sector institutes alone or in collaboration. By the year 2014, more than 95% of Indian farmers, that is 7.7 million, adopted BT cotton. Out of 12.5 million hectares of total cotton area in India, 11.6 million hectares is covered by BT cotton by 2015. India tripled cotton production from 13 million bales in 2002, the year it released first BT cotton, to more than 39 billion bales in 2014. At present, India is the #1 cotton producing country in the world, passing even USA and China. This is the factual statement about it. Then about BT brinjal. Mexico, an Indian seed company, has developed the BT brinjal to provide resistance against Lepidopteran insect pests, in particular the fruit and shoot borer. After several years of biosafety testing, the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee has cleared the BT brinjal for commercialization in the year 2009. Following concerns raised by some stakeholders and anti-GMO activists, the Government of India imposed a moratorium on its release in 2010.
माननीय मंत्री जी,
In the year 2013,
चूंकि अभी 6 बजने वाले हैं,
उनको कह दीजिए रिप्लाई के बाद कराएंगे अभी।
बैठे ना, बैठे पूरा करके, एक तो बीच में ना खड़े हों कि पूरा हो जाए इनका, तो हाँ वही पास कर बस।
in the year 2013, sir, the same BT brinjal event was approved by Bangladesh for commercial cultivation. So this is about, because some concerns etc. were, and here also I can tell you that the opposition from some groups, we are actively talking to them, and right now that opposition has reduced to the minimal levels, and we are towards developing a consensus. There will hardly be any opposition about the whole issue. This is what.
Sir, I want to.
अभी वो खड़े हैं, उनका स्पीच पूरी हो जाए।
See, I want to bring this
Notice that no member opposed this bill. Everybody supported, and you are repeatedly telling some members are opposed, some members are zero. See, you should appreciate. And हम पास करने को तैयार है, लेकिन आप सबको बोल रहे हैं कि आप कुछ नहीं बोल रहे। नहीं, इन्हें तो पहले धन्यवाद दिया।
Sir, I say on record once again, I appreciate the spirit of each and every one of you, and express my heartfelt gratitude. But some of the concerns that were raised, I am just trying to answer them.
आफ्टर हिज स्पीच
पहले समाप्त कर लें, तो ये खड़े हैं ना, भी आप बैठ जाइए, जब ये समाप्त कर लेंगे तो पूछ लीजिए आप। अरे ऐसे नहीं होता ना दुष्यंत जी, जो खड़े हैं बोल रहे हैं।
Then there was a concern raised by, I think started by Shashi Tharoor ji, about that biotechnology regulatory bill. I can tell you that the bill is already in advanced process. We are going to bring that regulatory thing, and moreover we are not compromising on any of the regulatory mechanisms even without the bill right now. This is just for the purpose of record. Then somebody's this institution, I have to say on record that this institution is only going to harmonize the relationship with the other institutions in the country and outside the country. This was also one of the concerns that was, and no existing center is going to lose its autonomy. Then some issue was raised about the majority voting right about the Indian members, and also the majority voting rights in the Board of Governors is with the Indian members. You can be assured about that. Then somebody mentioned about what are the economic benefits to the country. The center is expected to produce highly trained and skilled manpower capable of delivering low-cost, effective healthcare, agricultural and veterinary technologies. The investment would also result in the creation of space, unique infrastructure and critical core facilities which can be shared with other institutions. The center would serve as a window for showcasing Indian competence in the global market for economic gains. Then somebody mentioned about industry collaboration, etc. So I can tell you that one of the mandates about is education will be linked with industry requirements and will be dynamic and prepared based on the industry needs also. Why the need for this autonomous thing with a national importance is that they can make their own curricula, and depending on the advancing changes etc. in the field, they can always without any you can say control from any side, they can always there was mention about somebody wants a similar institute in Andhra Pradesh, somebody wants it somewhere else. So it's you see, this is a different type of institution. It's not something which can be created, but obviously if there is a need for a biotechnology facility of great nature which is lacking somewhere and which the department feels is the need of the hour, we'll certainly look at it. The foreign faculty, etc., they are all going to be involved in this. There was a suggestion given that the review should be every 2 years. We can actively consider that. And then there was a suggestion given about public representatives that also can be taken care of, how the public representatives' involvement can be there. Then somebody raised issues about funding, etc., what you are getting from UNESCO. As such, UNESCO per se...
Just a minute.
Sir.
The time of the House is extended up to the passing of this bill. I think House agrees with that.
Sir, okay, sir. Somebody mentioned about, asked about the UNESCO thing. UNESCO is not going to provide us any funds per se, but the member states, they will be giving contributions, and the center may receive contributions from the member states within the region. They are going to be voluntary contributions and which will add to the core fund. All non-statutory aspects of the regulatory bill are being implemented. This is what I mentioned to you just now. I think broadly these were the issues which were Hukam Singh ji mentioned, the Honorable Speaker, he mentioned about the biotechnology park in Lucknow. In fact, I have to tell you that we have 5 science institutions in Lucknow which are the state-of-the-art institutions. I have visited all 5 of them: CMAP, NBRI, CDRI, Indian Institute of Toxicological Research, and the Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleo Science. So, you need not worry about the facilities that Government of India has created in Lucknow. There was mention about the generic medicines. Mr. Satpathy is not here. I can agree with him to some extent that, you see, we are a leader in generic medicines in the country. There cannot be 2 opinions about it. But the benefits of those generic medicines, that is a long way which we have to cover to make sure that we make the generic medicines available to each and every person in this country and promote the rational prescribing of medicines amongst our doctors. That, of course, is something which I agree. Jagdambika Pal ji had studied the bill thoroughly and he answered most of the questions that Mr. Tharoor had raised. There were issues raised about the quality and quantity of biotech graduates, regulatory reforms, financial incentives to the biotech industry, upgradations of the centers. I can tell you that these are all concerns which are basically the concerns which have been taken care of by making this institute. We are going to improve all these institutions. I think broadly, I can talk about biotechnology. It is such a great sector. It is a very fascinating sector. Has a huge potential to help people, mankind, agriculture, farmers, health, and of course the clean energy. You mentioned about that cellulose thing getting converted into 2G ethanol. Only on 22nd April, 2 days back, we have inaugurated the first plant of its kind in the whole world, not only in India, where we are converting all that into 2G. And it's such a huge plant which converts 10 tons right now, 10 lakh tons, and we can do that up to 250 and 500 lakh tons. This is I think already that waste to wealth thing is already we are in a very, very advanced stage. And in clean energy, under the National Innovation Mission, the Department of Biotechnology is leading the clean energy mission with other departments of the Government of India, whether they are the Power Ministry or the Environment Ministry, and we are taking a lead in ensuring that with close collaboration, we can make sure that we are now from 2G alcohol or 2G ethanol, we are now into ensuring that we convert that ethanol also into butanol. That's the next generation that we are working on. And the bigger plants also have been designed by the biotechnology. So biotechnology is now on a very, very strong footing. In 10 years from now, he said, what in 5 years you can calculate how much it will be in 5 years. We are trying to move at the fastest possible pace. We are trying to put our heart and soul into whatever we are trying to do, and we need everybody's support. We want all of you to be participant in all the scientific activities in your areas, and I once again request all of you to please pass this bill. Thank you.